Hello everyone, and welcome to Star Trek Sanctuary, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modifius Entertainment. Ignore my avatar that is currently broken. My name is ELH the Game Master, and joining me are three lovely individuals who will meet right away after I apologize to the entire nation of France, because apparently I was saying a ship name wrong. It is Lorraine, not the Rene. So I apologize in advance for making the entire nation of France angry at me. Also, Arwen may have told me some very bad things that I was doing wrong, but that's okay. I appreciate Arwen for doing that. Anyways, let's meet our people, starting with Techno. Techno, who you playing and anything you want to shout out?
Hi everyone, I am Techno, and my avatar probably won't freeze. If it does, then things have gone incredibly wrong, and someone should probably call an ambulance. I am playing, on that note, Kiani, the doctor slash CMO slash lieutenant slash way over her head in terms of suddenly being a joined trill. And I currently have nothing to shout out.
All right, Arwen, what do you have to shout out, and who you playing?
Hey, I am Arwen. I am playing Lieutenant Commander Oberon, the chief engineer, who is also out of his element because he was a Starbase designer for 20 years and then thrown into this chief engineer role. And I got nothing to shout out other than, no, I got nothing to shout out.
All right, Bean, what do you got going on?
Hi, I'm Bean_Goblin VT. I'm just a little guy. I'm going to be trying to get back into streaming because I've been ill for the past week or so. So hopefully I'll be able to do stuff tomorrow. I am playing Commander Shishiro, the Orion commander. Security officer. Not so much over her head because she's used to pressure, but also she needs to de-stress, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. I'm going to shout out the current America weather pattern. Hopefully, if I shout it out, it won't stop one of our games again.
Yeah, for those who don't know, at the time of the recording, there are 3 to 4 inches of snow outside, which is also the reason why we didn't meet last week. But just snow is weird. That's all
You
I'll
know,
say.
we just bow down to General Winter. Please do not take our roleplay from us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of roleplay, I believe Techno once again has gone above and beyond to make a third intro video. So let's see what that looks like. And welcome back. So, as is tradition for my Star Trek Adventures games, is I have the players do an opening log, and I believe Commander Soshiro has that honor today. So, Bean, take it away.
Commander station logs. Day 3 after impact. The shock of being thrown across space into another galaxy is starting to wear off some of the crew, but many are still in crisis mode. The station has taken massive damage and is surrounded by some sort of local fauna, which likely wants to eat us. I and the rest of the command staff have agreed to rename the station to Sanctuary to give it a sense of home in this unknown area. Talking about command staff, Lieutenant Lieutenant Caddy has suffered greatly from their joining and has not been able to center themselves due to the chaos that's been going on. And on top of that, I have to promote a large amount of ensigns and lieutenant junior grade to higher ranks to fulfill many of the roles around Sanctuary Station. I'm gonna have to start bringing the captains from the ships to join in the station command, but many of them are separate from our command structure, and that will not go smoothly. However, repairs are becoming our own thanks to Oberon, who has been one of the best engineers I've ever seen so far, and to be fair to Caddy, been one of the best medical professionals despite the difficulties with their joining. And many of the people owe their lives to her. Computer, make the rest of this log, this log look like it ended here, and the timestamps end here without my code. So, the Black Room. For one, I can't believe Starfleet's still messing around with this technology. My whole career was gambled on defense of an idea which the higher up command can't seem to keep. They either willingly or otherwise coerce the living being to stay in that room. I thought Captain Becker was alone with this outrageous technology, but my station is a weapon which looks weirdly too familiar. That mine and Vol's mutiny seems so... Why am I even making this log? No one's going to read this. Computer end log.
Very nice. You may have one momentum for that opening log. And where we're going to begin at the request of the players is aboard the Versailles, the Nova class, which mostly managed to survive the yeetening, as it were. And it has kind of become your secondary command center, because all you really have on the station right now is the normally secondary command center, which has become new ops. And when you need absolute secrecy, or you need absolute ways to ensure that the command structure is being followed, you use the Versailles conference room. And that's where we're going to start, is in the Versailles conference room. So the Versailles itself is currently docked with Sanctuary Station. So all you really see out of the windows right now is the interior of the saucer section of the station. But with you, because you mentioned it in your opening log, I just wanted to check a few things. So first question, is the Klingon captain there? Is the Orion captain there? And is the Ferengi captain there?
I think for the first part of the meeting, I would like all three of them there, because the first part is going to be discussing station security with the local fauna and repairs, and for those captains to bring forth any issues they have, because I know that the Klingon ship mostly as damage was related to crew, and the Orions don't have an engine, but I don't know what the Ferengi's issue is. Then talking about station repairs, and then probably having a meeting with only the Starfleet command staff. After that initial part is talk to, which is to, for the non-Federation people, it's to talk about our command structure. So they don't need to be there for that meeting. However, it's also to talk about the Black Room, because we haven't had a proper meeting about that.
Got it.
So that would be the sort of notes that the other players, the characters, would have had leading up to the meeting.
Got it. All right, well, as a reminder, we'll start with the Klingons and work our way down. Is the IKS Kot is captained by Klar, daughter of Kov. Very K-oriented there, apparently. The Orion vessel, OSV Malor, is captained by Hamar, and he's He listens to you because you're Soshiro, daughter of the winter constellation. No, you're the spring and summer constellation. And now, for the first time, quote unquote, on screen, we see the crew of the FCV Slet, captained by Galaba, a female Ferengi. And we join that mid sort of dialogue where Galaba is wearing very fine robes, almost like a daemon robe, but a little bit more female oriented, is how I'll put it. Where instead of it just being, that vest over the slacks, she's made it her own. She's got little bits of finery. She's got little bits of accentuation of her features, is how I'll put it. She's owning the outfit, is what I'm getting at here. Like, she has made that outfit her own. And for Ferengi, she's actually seems to be very personable. And she will join her mid dialogue, and she says, "I can affirm that the FCV Salat is ready to assist with any endeavors. I believe in this instance we must dispense with the purposeful, meaningful use of latinum. At this point, latinum means nothing. The only latinum we have is what I have on my vessel and what lies in Federation stores. And as strange as it is for a Ferengi to say, I believe that the way forward is through free collaboration."
Oh, thank you,
From what I
Captain.
recall, free rarely means free with the Ferengi. What exactly do you propose that any assistance from your ship and crew will cost?
We can figure that out once we are not under peril of whatever these creatures. What are we calling them, by the way?
Well, we don't have a name for them now, but here's the sensor logs and rough imagery of these creatures, as I will pull up the sort of mix between shark and lobster creature. We haven't had really much thought or time to name such a creature, but I am open to any suggestions.
So the captains all take a look at your sensor logs, and the first one to react is going to be Hamar, the captain of the Orion vessel, and says, "Well, mistress, I don't know how to tell you this, but it's either going to be the most tasty thing we've eaten, or it is something that we're going to have to fight off very quickly."
Yeah, well, it sounds like it might be both of those. Hopefully, if we are requiring a food source, at least they would be able to provide it for us. And maybe just looks at it. Kasha, maybe? If anybody else has any other names for it?
And I think Klar is looking at it, the Klingon captain, and I'm trying to find it in my notes here. Yes, here it is. She looks at it and swears in Klingon. Use your favorite Klingon swear here. And she says, "This reminds me of a story, a great tale, a battle of Kalis against, well, some of the finest creatures to ever grace a Klingon bat'leth, the end of one. They are known as the Shahor," and I'll put it in chat, because I want to make sure I'm saying it right. The Shohor, I believe is how it's said. And she says, "They certainly look the part, and based on these sensory scans, I do believe that it will take significant firepower to break through their carapace."
So that's my name suggestion for it. Well, there is one thing I was able to glean from our brief incursion with them. They seem to be a native species to this area, which use some sort of cloaking device. Well, not cloaking device, naturally a forming cloaking field. Which means since they seem to be a pack predator, would suggest that they have some means of picking up each other's tachyon fields or the equivalent of. Maybe with I do not know what state your ship is, but is the cloaking device working on the vessel?
It is working, however, we are not able to really affect any great damage to these creatures. As much as I am Klingon and I do not admit weakness, I only have one bird of prey. I'm not sure how much I can do to this massive creature.
Well, if we were to adjust the tachyon field, we could make a wall of tachyons instead of a field around your ship, making it seem like there is an object where there isn't. thereby pulling these creatures into a kill zone, which the station would be able to do so. The station does have working weapons, however, due to the damage that the structure has suffered, only this arcs of the station is able to fire effectively without damaging the station further. If we can bring them into these arcs, then we would be able to use the station's weaponry if it comes to that.
You asked us to act as bait. Not the most glorious thing, but I see the wisdom in it.
More of corralling a prey more than acting as bait. But yes, if it is what we require to survive, then it's what we have to do.
Agreed.
But I'll take any other suggestions that people have on dealing with these things and needed repairs on the ships and various other things to get them into a working state to fend off these creatures.
And at this point, Galaba actually speaks up again, and she says, "Well, I am happy to report that the slet is fully functional. We were only suffering minor damage during the phenomenon that threw us here, and therefore we are ready to assist in whatever way possible. However, I am obligated to tell you that our weaponry is not as great as the Starbase's. We have a few disruptors, we have a few phasers, we also have a photonic weapon, if you care about that, but we do not have the full firepower of a Starbase."
Do you have anything in your cargo hold which would be of use? I do not know what your hold was had, but maybe it has something interesting.
Well, I was meaning to tell you about that. The reason I am so willing to dispense with the latinum problem is because there's a latinum problem. You see, my cargo hold was full of it. Still is full of it. And though this is a lesser known phenomenon with latinum, we could turn that amount of latinum into a biological weapon, if you get what I'm saying. It might be effective against the creatures.
You're suggesting that we just poison them in some with like latinum poisoning, effectively.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
I would like to
first
say
thing that would happen is they'd use their hair, but that doesn't seem to be an issue. But also, that would be incredibly difficult to do because latinum poisoning usually takes place over a long period of time. So we'd have to have a much quicker delivery mechanism than slow poisoning.
Well, I have it on good authority from my first officer. I have it on good authority from my first officer that he has used latinum to great effect in torpedoes before, and that if you deliver it properly, we could use it as such a weapon. But I do not mention this lightly. I have a feeling this goes against Starfleet regulations, but I wanted it to be an option.
Now, this would be more of one of the last options that I would like to go over. However, many creatures throughout the galaxy, or galaxies in this case, have warded away creatures by making themselves look poisonous. We don't actually have to poison the creatures, we just have to make ourselves look unedible if we are able to do so.
And I think everybody maybe looks at Oberon for that.
Oberon's looking at several pads stacked up, repair schedules, and he realizes the room has gone silent, and he looks up. I'm sorry, what?
We were brainstorming ideas of how to deal with the local fauna, and one of them was to make the station, or at least make it perceive that we are poisonous to these creatures.
Well, okay. Do we even know if that would work with these creatures? What do we know about their biology?
Well, from what I've been able to glean from the tactical records, they seem to emit some sort of tachyon field to make themselves look cloaked. And whatever else the sensor scans have, she just pushes one more data pad to your pile of data pads.
Is there anything I could have known from reviewing the data pads from a biological standpoint?
You may certainly do a roll if you want to give me a reason and a medicine, and this will be a difficulty of 1.
Oh God, how do I do this again? There we go.
Yeah. This sounds like a life science issue. This sounds like a problem for life sciences. Goes back to his pads.
Just pulling out into more pads across the table. Somebody has to have a good idea with one of these pads.
Well, I'll have a quick roll for it then, please. I will use a focus of xenobiology as well.
Yep, xenobiology definitely applies.
And you said difficulty of 1?
Difficulty 1.
Well, in that case, I'm just going to roll it straight and see what happens.
Well, you got a complication.
I'm going to
So,
take it.
here's the good news, bad news. Good news, you can confirm that the cloaking field that these creatures emit is tachyon-based, which means you could, theoretically, create a lure that the Klingon captain could use on her bird of prey to lure them into a firing range. That part of the plan works. The complication is that if these readings are correct, none of your current weaponry will puncture the creature's carapace. None.
Even the Starbases?
Even the Starbase's natural weapons.
Oh, bugger me. I'm not going to mention that out loud, but, you know.
Commander, so I think if any of these plans has merit, as it currently stands, and she sort of taps at the tactical readout and sort of swipes across to your datapad, then some attempt at either making ourselves look poisonous or putting some kind of deterrent out using latinum or some other method, they're probably the best bets. Given that before we were able to scare them off at least for a short time with subspace radio burst, or we could always try that again, or more of us now that we have more ships available in which to replicate that, or whether we set up some kind of like shark repellent space spray, and just sort of coat the area around us with like platinum particulate or something. I'm not sure what would work at the moment. I'd need to run some more numbers on densities and etc. Like, it's not important. The important thing is we a direct confrontation utilizing Captain Clark's ship is unlikely to yield the results that we need.
There's an engineering solution too. We may be able to, I imagine, spacefaring creatures, I know Gormaganders and whatnot, almost universally avoid ion storms. We could generate we could flood the immediate area with ionized particles and attempt to create our own ion storm.
What if these creatures are not exactly native to these areas of space and follow ion storms around, picking off damaged ships and fauna which have been swooped up by it? Not exactly the ion storm that hit us, but it seems quite coincidental that they just so happen to be in the same area that we are. Maybe this is part of their natural hunting pattern where they follow ion storms to pick up easy prey.
It's conceivable. We don't know enough about them or their biology, really, in order to make that kind of determination. Really, anything we're doing at the moment is supposition. This is an entirely new form of life. We have only the scantest data on which to base any assumptions. ELH, would I know from the biology scans whether or not, because I'm basing this purely on the fact that they have shark DNA in them in terms of what they look like. Do they have the sort of like electro receptors that a shark would? Mm-hmm. So would like strong electronic or electric fields attract them or deter them? Would any of that kind of information be known to me, or is that just not available at the moment?
No, it's a good question, and I like it. If you spend 1 momentum, I will answer that question. And you did just get a momentum from chat.
We did. Sure. Yeah, I'll spend it if everyone's all right with that.
Yep.
So because you've spent momentum, I will give you the full and complete answer, such as I am able to do so without spoiling the mystery completely. So yes, actually the way these creatures work is, as far as you can tell, as Commander Soshiro just alluded to, in a scavenging manner, where they use their EM sensors to detect space wrecks, debris, sort of prey to pick off on. And they do seem to chase ion storms, which give off the unique EM signature. So theoretically, if you use that EM sensor that the creatures have and confused it or fooled it or made another ion storm somewhere else, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. But just like a shark, as I'll remind you, if you punch a shark's nose hard enough, they will leave you alone because it basically blinds them. Actually, I think, now that I'm trying to remember how sharks work, I'm pretty sure if you rub the top of a shark's nose, it basically goes docile because it's like, I can't see anything.
You can also flip them upside down for the same effect. But yeah, see, this was all what was going through my head as well. We could punch them in the nose, as it were. And jumping back into character, Commander, the biology also seems to suggest that these would work similarly to other sort of shark-related species or derivative species. I don't know if there's some sort of connection between them or not. It's not important right now. The important thing is, sorry, I'm babbling, is that another option that we could do is to emit either such a strong EM field that we effectively blind them or punch them in the nose, or we could also attempt to fool them with some sort of generated ion field, ion storm, or something similar. I think that would also work. Yes.
Okay. Well,
that becomes an engineering problem, and she looks meaningfully at.
Also, is the current state of our station luring them to us?
I suspect if anything is luring them to us, it would be. I mean, it's possible. Probably we're leaking EM fields all over the place, just as an operational starbase. But more likely, it would be whatever it was that catapulted us here. There may be some residual effect from that. There may have been some build-up prior that we weren't present to observe. There could be a number of things that are attracting them in this direction. It could also be that they feel threatened because we did scare them off before, and they perceive either a predator that they can attack in greater numbers, or. And she just sort of shrugs.
What if old starships used to polarize their hull plating? What if we did something similar we could potentially do something similar with the starbase, and the hulls of the ships, so that if they tried to bite down or, touch the hulls of the ship at any point, it might confuse them.
Or at least divert them from the ship enough that it would turn into a glancing blow.
Or, another idea, we could refit some of the torpedoes to emit electrical charges along their hull. If we aimed them properly and hit them in the snout, the proverbial snout, would that have the same effect, Doctor?
It very well could. It would need to be precise. We'd need to have a precise target lock, I assume, and that may be complicated by the fact that they have this natural cloaking ability to fool our sensors. I'm not sure how, at the moment at least, I'm not sure how our sensors would fare with sort of mapping out the tachyon fields that they're emitting and firing with that level of precision. We could set up the equivalent of photon mines, some sort of proximity fuse on them, or we could detonate as we needed to, but any of these could also be an option.
We could also have a series of EM pulses being in a area effect rather than a precise effect. If we would just want to deter a swarm of them.
Here's another idea. Can latinum hold a charge?
It can.
It's a metal, right? So what if we loaded the torpedoes with latinum, and upon impact, we released a charge, and the latinum would spread across their sensory organs and confuse them.
My only problem with such an approach would be that we only have a limited supply of latinum. I mean, she sort of looks over at Galaba and, like, I mean, not to, insult the store that no doubt have built up, but it is a finite store. We only
have 200
so
bars
much
of latinum.
See, that's in terms of defending a station and our ships long term is not a huge amount.
Well, to complicate matters further, I am going to spend 2 threat that you do get a chirp from outside the room from your favorite Senior Chief Waterbee. And he says, ma'am, sirs, I thought you'd like to know that long-range sensors, such as they are, have detected the same sort of sensor ghosts that preceded the first probing by the creatures. I thought you might want to know that if the sensors are correct, they'll be here within the next 12 hours.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have to cut the meeting of all of the captains short for a moment. So if you could return to your vessels and conduct any repairs, and hopefully work towards maybe. How about we universally try and get our torpedoes to have electric charges, so we at least have something to ward off the threat. And if you were to give my engineering crew any immediate repairs for you to get your ships space-worthy, we will try to assist you on that.
And Klar, Hamar, Galaba all stand. And I think Galaba, immediately goes over to Hamar on the way out and says, now, I do happen to have a spare engine which we might be able to retrofit to your vessel for I guess we're acting cooperation. A favor. Yes, you will owe me a favor. And that's all you hear as they exit. And now
yes.
It is just Federation in the room.
For free. Okay, so Shishiro will pass a couple of data pads around. I will go quickly over these data pads. These are recommendation for junior officers to take more senior roles. I was going to go it over in more detail. However, I believe we have more pressing things to talk about, namely about the Black Room and ELH. In the room would be, at this point, Wallaby and I forget the Vulcan's name.
Lieutenant Commander Preya.
Preya, because at the moment they're my command staff,
okay.
Which is slightly depressing.
Just very quickly, Kiani's just going to hold up her hand and just sort of stop the commander very quickly. Just one moment. And I'd like to do a roll of some kind, ELH, just check whether or not Galaba left behind any kind of bug or recording device in the room.
Very thoughtful indeed.
Or anyone for that matter. I'm just mostly concerned about them.
Mostly concerned about her. Understandable. Why don't you give me a reason and engineering? Oberon, you can assist. And this is a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
Now just remember, you do have joining confusion, so your complication range is 18 to 20 currently.
Which we should have remembered a minute ago as well. So that's a 3 on the scale?
3 on the button, yeah.
Yep.
Well, no help from Oberon, strangely.
Don't really think I've got any focuses that are going to apply. Okay, I'm just going to roll it straight and see what happens.
Well, you once again get the number of successes you need. Double 10s. Well done. So, no bugs, no listening devices, no visual recording devices, nothing like that. But you do find that apparently she's left behind a business card.
We don't already know where her ship is.
Yeah. Why did she leave this?
Does it have their comms number on it and everything?
It does. It has their comm frequency on it. It has a little holographic chip that shows them smiling at the person looking at the card. It's a very fancy card. And in fact, the more you look at it, I'm going to look at Oberon. Even though you didn't help on the task, Oberon, you think that there's a tiny little data storage unit in this card. Now, you don't know what's on that data storage unit, but you could conceivably connect a tricorder, a pad, or whatever to read what's on that
Oh no,
little
it's going to
data
be
chip.
like that Quark mug where every single time you tip the mug, it plays the tune.
Yeah.
And you put it in the tricorder, so every single time you open it, it plays the tune.
I can't
Well,
resist. I have to do it.
okay. Well,
Um, sorry.
you know the Sluggo Cola jingle? You know, the tastiest in the galaxy or
Slimiest
the
cola in
slimiest in the galaxy?
galaxy.
Actually,
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what you get. And over top of that jingle is Galaba saying, "And yes, as the third daughter in line to take over Sluggo Cola, it is my honor that I've given you my business card. I do hope our future endeavors will be profitable." And then that message
Rule
just
of
repeats until you shut it off.
Well, that's rule of acquisition 27, 217. That's the one. You can't free a fish from water. Sorry, Commander, for cutting you off. I just thought that,
It's a
well,
valid concern.
yeah,
So
one of it's not important. Carry on. Sorry, Commander, carry on.
now, considering we've this is probably the first command meeting we have, let's go over a couple of things. A quick overview of the station. I guess that it's not really improved since day one of the after the impact.
I mean, we have so many breaches and so many repairs. It is going to take a long time. I have been focusing on uh, strengthening life support, keeping that going, keeping the engines going, uh, power systems going, and repairing external breaches so that we can slowly start shutting down force fields and channel that energy elsewhere where it's needed. I could use some direction from you in terms of what are the priorities, especially now that we have shark lobster things coming at us.
The weapons are functioning. I would want you to focus on the station structure. If we took any more hits, we would. I don't know what I think we'd crack in two at that point.
You're not wrong, and I was hoping you were going to say that.
If there is anything that you think takes a pressing matter, please tell me. I am not an engineer, so I would not know too much about that. But moving on to our other report, Doctor, how is things in sickbay?
Surprisingly good, actually. We, and that's the we in terms of our medical staff. My medical staff have done an excellent job. If there was, if we were in range of Starfleet, I'd ask that they be given commendations. In fact, for some of them have handled the duties I've had to throw on them. But setting that aside for a moment, we're in a good state, Commander. We are lower on a lot of supplies than I would like, especially a lot of the analgesics and the burn medication that we've had to use a lot of. In fact, our stores are pretty much dry in that regard. But in terms of other things, we could be better, but we could be worse. The inventories from the cart, the Malor, and the Slet are about what I expected. They're not going to help us much, and I'd be loath to take medical equipment from their ships if they permit it. But it's good to know they have it if we need to trade for it or requisition it in some the sick bay on or what's left of their sick bay on the Rhine, the whatever we're calling it, that's also not too bad. Them having a later is going to help somewhat, but not in bulk. It's going to be just useful for short-term fixes rather than long-term solutions. So yeah, really, there's not much I can do until we can find other sources of medical herbs or other extracts or materials that I can use to properly synthesize better medication, or until we get the industrial replicators back online, which will probably help a lot in that regard as well.
In
Yes.
fact, Lieutenant Commander, if after what repairs you think the structure needs to keep it in a functional state, the industrial replicators is probably the second priority, uh, without anything else sending us for a spin.
I agree. I agree. Everything is a priority right now.
Hmm.
But if I very much want to start using the raw material that's orbiting the station, from the debris field, and start reclaiming that and remaking that into usable hull plating. That is one of the. I do have a team working on the industrial replicators, but it's slow going.
If
Uh,
you give me a team of engineers to scan for what they need in the debris field, I can take the Versailles out to see what we can find within the field, leaving you in the station to wreck the repairs. The deflector dish seems to be the only thing which is malfunctioning on this ship at the moment, thank goodness. So I should be able to manage piloting it.
that would help. That would be helpful.
Now for the well, I wouldn't say the elephant in the room. It's more like the skeleton in the closet, the black room. Now we've had a little bit of time to think about it. I want your two's opinion about it.
I don't know
Oh,
what to
sorry,
think
yeah,
about.
the group's opinion because the NPCs are also here.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I don't understand even what this entity is. I've never heard of. Are you saying? Are they a computer program? Are
So,
they?
from my experience, Lieutenant Vol tried to explain it to me, but I am not a physicist. The creature I'm going to call an horizon is some sort of being that lives on the other end of event horizon of a black hole, and somehow, some means, is able to be put into some sort of containment unit, which a vessel can use or a station can use. Now, on the USS North Star, Captain Becker and his teams were coercing this creature into it to make some sort of land spinal weapon, able to effectively use a singularity to cause a micro black hole at the target location. Now, again, I don't fully understand the physics, the biology, anything to go with it, but I recognize the technology and I recognize the being, though when I encountered them last time, they were in significant more pain. The distress from it was able to affect Lieutenant Vol, which, uh, being a Vulcan, is more psychically attuned to these things than I. And even with his more limited psychic powers that comes with abilities that comes with being a Vulcan, he was able to experience the anguish in full. I do not know how, I do not know why, but it was enough to put him into a emotional rehabilitation camp back in Vulcan. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this being on my station. However, especially with the point that our weaponry are not is able unable to affect any damage to these creatures, we need a solution, or we may have to revolve around what the Black Room has potentially have for us.
Well,
Now, as you're thinking, one of the ensign raises her hand and says, "May I say something, ma'am?"
Yes, Ensign?
Very well. Don't be alarmed. I'm just going to change real quick. And the ensign does the cameloid thing where there's kind of that blur of tubules and whatnot. And you see still an ensign in front of you, but she's wearing a very different uniform. And she says, uh, try not to be alarmed, but I was put here by a force that shouldn't really be mentioned, but I'm probably going to tell you about it anyway. You know what? Let me back up. Sorry, this is my first real away mission. I'm Ensign Zaha, or Zeha, however you care to pronounce it. Yes, I'm a Cameloid. Hello, hi. I am Starfleet. Um, You know what? I'll just say it. I'm from a vessel in the 29th century, and I was sent here to figure out why you have a black room, because you shouldn't have a black room. And I was just going to play along and, do the temporal agent thing of, sneaking around. But I haven't been able to get in contact with my handlers. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this galaxy is outside the temporal investigations purview, so I'm stranded. And yeah, you shouldn't have a black room. I think I mentioned that already. Sorry.
So the interesting thing is, I was literally about to say that we haven't had a visit from temporal investigations, so we might. And well,
I hate temporal ethics. I hate temporal ethics. I hate temporal ethics. I hated that course in the academy.
it was the easiest course. You just showed up and you'd already passed because you'd already attended the lessons in the future.
Yes, Ensign Zaza, please enlighten us as much as you are able to do so.
Well, like I said, this is kind of my first away mission. They really kind of threw me to the wolves here. Well, the thing is that the initial black box technology was developed roughly around the 25th, 26th century. Somehow it got into Starfleet's hand early enough to start making temporal inroads, I guess is the word you would use, because that's how the Federation kickstarted its transwarp network, which is a whole nother story, I could tell, but not really germane to this discussion. You already know about them trying to turn it into a weapon, and now we have one that is apparently an entire computer bank. So, yeah, my understanding, black hole being used for things that aren't supposed to be used for a black hole. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Commander. I was just sent here to figure out why it was here, not how it was here.
Well, that complicates things.
Do you understand the technology?
I understand it enough to tell you what I'm looking at, but not how it works. Kind of like, what's an anachronism I could use? It's kind of like going to a 20th or 21st century car and opening up the hood and going, yeah, that's an engine.
That sounds awesome. Do you know where any 20 or 21st century cars are?
No, but if we get
No.
out of this and I'm not reprimanded and kicked out of the temporal investigation squad, maybe I'll bring one for you.
Well, the good news is you haven't been kicked out retroactively, so you must be doing something right, or we never get out of this. So take some comfort in that, I suppose.
Temporal
Temporal
shenanigans.
physics,
Yeah,
I don't.
still weird. Yeah, I think I mentioned this already, but the fact that I haven't been contacted and the fact that another temporal agent hasn't showed up to stop me telling you all this means we're out of contact or we're somewhere that the DTI can't get to, which is terrifying in its own right.
Or you're doing exactly what you're meant to do.
This was to be the other thing I was going to mention, yes.
Why
The
did I sign
timeline
up
was
to be
always
DTI?
meant for you to be here.
Why did I sign up to be DTI? I should have, you know what? I should have been a botanist. I should have been a botanist. I should have just stayed with plants. Plants would have been my thing.
Ensign, I don't want you to share me how the technology works or hear how even to function it. I want you to answer a few questions for me. Is the function of that computer room going to compromise the station in any way that I would need to know about before enabling it in any way, shape, or form?
This is going to be a weird analogy, but as long as you don't piss off the engine and make the engine mad at you, the engine will do its job.
Okay. Secondly, what is the weaponry also from your time period that is connected to?
3 or 4 centuries before, still 25th, 26th century, but definitely anachronistic.
So the computer core is 27th century and the weaponry is 25th century or thereabouts. I don't need exact dates and times.
Close enough, yeah.
Nope, I'm not going to ask that last question. I'm not going to ask that last question.
The
Out of
answer
character,
is your
but
pool will be fixed eventually. And that is not because I know that for a fact. I just think I'm looking at Oberon, and I know we've only interacted like twice, and you were yelling at me to fix an EPS conduit, but I think you'll get that pool working
Have
again
you
soon.
fixed that EPS conduit?
I have. I actually fixed it before coming here.
do you know how to fix an
Did you
EPS
log that
conduit?
in the
It's not
repair
ancient.
log?
I did
I
log
don't
it. It's
see
right
that
here,
in the
sir.
repair log.
No, it's right here, sir. And then she looks at the pad. Oh, I forgot to file the repair log.
If you do not document your work, I cannot help the system.
She very hesitantly pushes the button on the pad, and now it's on your pad. Report filed, sir.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
are you even able to use EPS conduits? Is it just ancient technology to you?
Remember the analogy about the car? I sort of specialize in 24th, 23rd century technology.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's why you were picked to be in my century.
What a
Any-
coincidence! So do we.
But sorry,
Alright.
I kind of derailed this meeting. We probably have other things to talk about. I just wanted you to know, hi, I'm here. I didn't want to be subterfuge anymore. I'm here. Hi.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
going to
that's
have.
a problem we deal with later.
Oh
you,
yes, let me just wave at all of the solutions I have to our problems. Oh wait, the shelf is empty.
well, I mean, and she turns to Sahar. While you may have familiarity and an interest in 24th century technology, presumably you also have at least 29th century technology. Is there anything we can do to enhance our systems in some way? Perhaps drive more power to our weapons, or
Well, there is something, but Oberon isn't going to like it.
I don't think Oberon likes anything. No offense,
Hey,
Lieutenant Commander. Just that's the vibe I'm getting at the moment.
I'm just overworked. I'm actually a very pleasant Ariolo.
Oh, fantastic! You've admitted it at last. That's good. So, again, I'm going to put my foot down as the apparent CEO, not CEO, the other one, CMO. Too many acronyms. Rest. I've told you already, and I'm pretty sure that when we had that rest period, you were not resting fully. So again,
Bashiro looking between Obo and the doctor and drinking her fifth cup of Fractigino this hour just to keep.
just puts a hand over the lid of it and just sort of slowly lowers it back down to the table. And while we're on the subject, we should really be limiting our stimulants.
I somehow feel like I've walked into this trap that you played for me.
Yes.
Well done. I appreciate the structure and how you have trapped me.
And you have limited my coffee supply again because you have walked into a trap.
I mean, so help me, I will program the replicators to only serve decaf. I don't know how I'll do that. I don't know how to do that, but I will find out how to do it, and I will do it.
This stare of a disgruntled noble just comes across her face.
She's not my noble. I don't care.
Commander, getting back to the situation at hand,
Yes.
I recommend highly not linking up our systems to this advanced technology, especially now that I have heard that it has a mind of its own, and it is what I believe was quoted as temperamental.
Well, that actually wasn't going to be my suggestion, sir. Are you familiar with anti-proton weaponry?
Go on.
Well, it'll probably burn out half the arrays and cause even more weapon breaches, but if we converted our phaser arrays to anti-proton, I mean, anti-protons pack a hell of a punch, probably would be enough to get through the creature's carapaces.
Do you think our systems can take it?
This leads back, Commander, to the other question of do we even want to kill these creatures who are just doing what nature intended?
Agreed with the doctor.
If it comes between us and the station, I have to respond with the station. However, I wish to take all other options first.
Yes, of course. if it comes down to saving lives, then I'm in complete agreement. I just don't want an option.
But if this is going to turn into a fight, I don't want to walk into the fight with nothing but harsh words and a smile on my mouth.
I mean,
I really think we should try to power down the station as much as we can. So if our EM signature, try to reduce our EM signature as much as we can, and try to lure it away by creating with the ships that we have that are working, and try to deal with it far away from the station. We are at T-minus 11 hours and 45 minutes, and I do not know how many solutions I have time to put in place and continue repairs on the station.
do we have any warp-capable probes that could be outfitted to emit the type of EM field we're positing would attract them?
Or courier probes?
We could shut down everything bar life support for, well, and sensors, I suppose, for a few hours and shoot some probes off in a direction and buy ourselves some more time.
ELH is checking his notes. You do have probes. Congratulations, it's the one thing that didn't break.
Is there an asteroid belt in this solar system?
We haven't really defined this system a whole lot. I think last time I mentioned that the Versailles was initially going to go out and explore, but then the deflector thing happened.
I think I said there were 7 planets in this as just an offhand remark.
I think so, yeah. I think you said 7 planets, and I think I wrote it down somewhere.
I mean, I think our sensors are still pretty much balked, aren't we?
Yeah, so there could be 20 planets out there. We just only saw 7 of them.
Right.
Yeah, and
let's say that at the moment there is 2 asteroid belts.
Is there one near to our location?
There is a asteroid belt that is near to you, yes. So, just for the sake of argument and to keep things simple, basically the station is above quote-unquote Earth right now. And you have Mars, and then the asteroid belt, and then other planets, and then a second asteroid belt, and then more planets.
Because if we can simulate the electrical pulse that these creatures will chase down, we could ping it off multiple asteroids with large amounts of metal cores to have a luring effect to the asteroid belt, which will allure them around the solar system. Basically send this pulse through the asteroid belt as a wave to try and lead them to the other side of the solar system, and then push it out of the asteroid belt, and then whichever vessel is traveling around the asteroid belt will then use the asteroids as cover to come back to the station.
So that just buys us more time, but they're
potentially buys us more time, or if we are able to do it effectively enough, convinces them to leave the sector chasing whatever center goes we wish them to do so.
Also, time is the thing we don't have, so buying ourselves time is a valid option at this point. Because that gives you time to fix the station, it gives you time to set up any of these other ideas that are flying around, it gives you time to do proper sensor analysis of these creatures and permanent solution, like a shark net, effectively, that drives them off or keeps them out of orbit with us, or something. We don't even know, for example, whether or not they are going to attack the ships to ingest the metals, or whether they will attack the ships in order to attack the crew inside. We much about these, so the more data we can gather, the better I'll be able to present biological suggestions.
I like that idea very much. I would very, very much. At the risk of sounding improper, Commander, I would very much like to go start repairing stuff.
Very well, Lieutenant Commander. If you're dismissed.
Very good.
Before he is dismissed, just where are we then on the Black Room? Because it sounds like we're putting off the decision. Which, to be clear, I'm not against. I'm just highlighting the fact we started the discussion, and I don't really believe we resolved it.
Lieutenant Oberon, just before you leave, your opinion on activating the Black Room as a last resort?
I am against activating anything that can take command of this station that we have to worry about pissing off.
Very well. That's my chief engineer's opinion on it. So that means the Black Room is absolutely our last resort if we are to engage with that. And we will table a proper discussion about it when we're not in an immediate crisis situation.
And I think Senior Chief Waterby speaks up and says, so do you still want me to have round-the-clock guard outside the door, ma'am?
Round clock guard around outside. I would like you to make a couple of other areas have maybe not around the clock guards, but make it look like some other areas of importance. So the Black Room looks more. We are guarding it because it is a danger issue, a danger to people, rather than a classified area. Maybe a couple of areas which are considered dangerous. If you could just post some security guards, if you can handle that.
Already
Or
done it,
have
ma'am. In fact, we currently have eight locations currently that are just doing that exact job.
Very well. Very good. Well,
lots of caution stanchions, caution hologram stanchions with the police tape,
sort of thing. Yeah.
As far as anyone knows, ma'am, everybody thinks we're just keeping guard on the stores of food that we have on board.
Keep that rumor going then. Well, Lieutenant Commander over, and I will not keep any more of your time.
Thank you. I want to make rolls. I want to repair stuff.
So let me back up as the game master to sort of outline a few things. Oberon, you are going to get a chance to repair potentially one or two breaches here. But we also need to talk about your plan of using the asteroid belt and the asteroids and the metal and scaring off the creatures or making a shark net or something of those lines. So here's what I'll say is if you are able to repair, let me look at your breaches here. If you are able to repair 2 breaches on sensors, I will say that you'll still have problems with your sensors, but your tachyon detection field, which I'll put in chat, will actually be operational once more. And I mean fully operational. So you will be able to detect the creatures at long range. That's if you repair sensors. If you repair weapons, the plan brought up by Ensign Zeha to use antiprotons, I will say will not cause further breaches if that comes to pass. If you repair structure, that'll get you back some shields and will make you less prone to breaking apart. If you repair engines, you obviously get more power. You have more force fields, more control over the emissions you're putting out. Computers is kind of tertiary at this point. There's minor benefits if you fix computers. I suppose the last thing is communications. If you fix communications, it's what it says on the tin. You can send and receive subspace a little bit easier. You can coordinate better, that sort of thing. So it's really just what do you want to repair first here, Oberon? Because that can affect moving forward.
You said repairing the sensors would give us longer term notice, but if we stationed a science ship out at the edge of the system, we would also be able to get advance warning that way, right?
That's the thing, is that none of the other ships, including the Versailles, have a tachyon detection field. Like, this is a specific talent that the Starbase has.
All right. Well, that sounds like the highest priority. We need to know where these things are coming in from. As much as I really want to repair structure, because I don't like that it's red. I'll get started. I'll get started on sensors.
Okay. Now comes a little bit of a challenge, and you get to pick the challenge. If you want to just repair 1 breach, that is a difficulty of 2. And depending on how you approach it, whether you're doing the work yourself, that's a control or a daring plus engineering. If you're having your teams do it, that's a presence engineering. If you want to go for 2 breaches at once, it doubles the difficulty to a 4.
Okay. So I actually have a talent here called Repair Team Leader.
You do.
That if I succeed at a damage control major action, I can spend 2 momentum repeatable to repair 1 additional breach.
Yep, you could potentially get 3 or even 4 repairs here.
I like that idea.
Now, if only chat would give you momentum. I wish chat would do that.
Can I spend
Before
threat, or
chat
can I
gives us a
add threat?
complication.
Oh, you can certainly add threat. I just, do you want me to have threat with, space sharks coming?
Could I assist with this? Because I do want to have a scene with Techno after the meeting. But I
Well,
assume I would be able to help with this after
Hey,
the...
thank you for the momentum. So you do have 2 momentum now.
thank you, chat.
I would say you could assist, but your trait of Soshiro and Command would not come into play here.
Okay. So just a standard assist.
And it would be a presence engineering assist from Soshiro.
Could I make it a present con, since I am using the ship to gather raw resources to help the repair duty?
Sure, I'll give you a presence con. Go for it.
Team dynamics is appropriate focus.
Oh, and thank you for the threat, chat.
Boop.
Oh,
Oh, one
you
away
got one
from getting
assist.
2. One away from getting 2. Damn.
And what am I rolling? I'm rolling a presence engineering.
If you're using repair team leader, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
And remember, you have a choice here. Difficulty of 2, 1 breach standard. Difficulty of 4, 2 breach standard, before you spend momentum or threat for more.
Okay. God, I'm so sorry, E. Could you repeat that one more time?
You're perfectly fine. So if you repair 1 breach, it is a difficulty of 2. If you want to go for gold and do 2 breaches at once, it is a difficulty of 4. Now with repair team leader, if you go for the difficulty of 2, you can obviously spend momentum threat to get more, but the base would be 1. If you got the difficulty of 4, you basically have double dipping on repair team leader.
All right. I'm pretty good at these repairs. And I have cautious engineering, but that's only if I spend momentum. But I do have other stuff too that can help me add dice. Like
You also
I know
do
my
have
ship
determination.
station. And I do have determination. Yeah, let's do the 4.
Okay. So I need to see 3 more successes from you.
All right. And how are we using determination here?
Just tap a value and you're good.
Yeah. Okay. I like successes built on patience and perseverance.
Okay.
And that gives me 1 success. Okay.
Yep, starts you with 2 free successes.
All right. And I'm rolling. I get a free die because I'm doing repairs. And there's something about chief engineer too. What does that do?
Chief engineer does lower. Let me look here.
It's if you're in engineering, you have an advantage, isn't it?
I believe
No,
that's the case. It was in first edition anyway.
Further, if you attempt a task to perform repairs on a starbase or attempt to push the starbase's capacity beyond its normal limits, you may spend 1 momentum to re-roll a d20. So, all right. I'm going to take 1 of those momentum and give myself an additional die.
I wouldn't. You'd have to spend 2, so if you would have to give a threat as well, because then you'd have that momentum spared to do a re-roll.
All right.
Because
yeah, well, maybe I'll get some momentum back, and I have wrote the book, which will double the momentum that I get back.
All right. So it sounds like you're rolling.
I'm gonna do 1 momentum, 1 threat.
1 momentum, 1 threat. Okay.
And then know your ship or station in this case.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm rolling 4 die right now. 4 die total.
And make sure you also check using determination value.
All right.
Come on, go! Yay!
Okay.
7 successes in total.
7 successes total, and Oberon's successes are doubled, at least in terms of momentum. So that is...
6 momentum.
I don't think it's 6 momentum. I think it's 4 momentum.
Because it would be 3 over... It's 7 successes, which would be 3 over 4, which is 3 momentum and then doubled.
Can you put your talent that's giving you the double in chat for me, Arwen, just so I can read it?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, let me see. See, the way I read that is it's double any momentum you generate, not the assist generates.
Okay, so it would be 5
It would be 4.
momentum?
It would be 4 momentum, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to rule that means that you're at 4 momentum, which means you have a total of 5 momentum right now.
Yay me, or yay us.
Spend...
Yay me, chat.
Spend 4 momentum. Fix the
Yeah,
station,
if you
fix the
spend 4
station.
momentum that you just got, you completely fix your sensors.
Yes,
Could
let's
we
do it.
push those onto other systems, or would we have to have it solely on sensors?
That is a good question. The ELH is thinking. I tell you what, I will allow you to do it to other systems, but there's also going to be a hidden catch which will become relevant later. Just so that it's not like, oh, I'll just continually fix this one system and use momentum to fix the other stuff. Like, you're going to do it. I'm going to give it to you. But there will be a drawback in some because I have to keep things interesting.
Overstretched engineering team or something like that.
GM is being conspicuously silent.
I think we should just repair the sensors.
Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like you're going
to
go...
knock one system out completely, so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Got it. So it sounds like you're going to go back down to 1 momentum and have 0 breaches on sensors. Is that correct?
Yes. I think.
Thank you for listening to your chief engineer.
All right. All right. Change has been effected.
Oh, I love that look. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's nice.
For those who can't see Foundry, basically on the station sheet, it's just a bunch of oranges and a red. And now that Sensors doesn't have a breach, it's now just a nice black. So it's very eye appealing right now. All right. So that is what Oberon is doing. I believe, Bean, you wanted to have a quick scene with Tiani real quick.
Yes. So I wanted, after the meeting, I just want to take Tiani into the captain's room, which isn't really decorated. It has one of my family swords on it, on a stand, but it's not decorated like a proper captain's room is, because we haven't had time for that. That's silly.
There's still doilies everywhere from Commodore Black.
Yeah, they're in a box. The doily box with like little ceramic pictures of cats.
I'm spending one threat that there are cookie tins everywhere and none of them have cookies in them. Just sewing supplies. Sewing supplies everywhere.
Why was this my commanding officer? So Shiro is basically going to ask the doctor to come into her office a moment and then turn and go, Dr. Kani, I just wanted to have a bit of a chat with you, one-on-one. I presume if you have time at the moment. You say that sickbay seems to be at a adequate state at the moment.
It'd be more like one on 8 at this point, I think, given how confused I am. But yes, sickbay's in a pretty good state, so I have the time, Commander.
That's fair. Question: have any of you or your past selves ever been to Orion?
No, I don't think so. And she sort of looks sort of pensive for a minute as she's like thinking. No.
So she's going to go underneath her uniform and pull out a bracelet. This is a bracelet that only me and my twin have. It is from our noble family, which means none of your previous lives has ever seen this. The only person that has seen this is Lieutenant Commander Dr. Carney. She passes this to you. If you ever feel like you are confused or don't know which life you are, none of the other people were given this bracelet.
I think I see where you're coming from, Commander, and I very much appreciate the gesture. You're effectively giving me something to help ground myself, and
Yes.
yes, that's good. Can I wear this?
You can
What's
wear it, you
culture?
just keep it on your
The
person.
question, like, is it culturally appropriate that I wear it or anything like that? Because like I feel like
Don't
having it on me would be helpful.
don't make let the other Orions see that you have it. They may think that I favor you in some way.
Uh, right? Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yes, okay. I'll.
But I
Uh,
will want that back when you do have your headspace put back together.
uh, that's understandable. As soon as, I mean, as soon as that happens, you'll be, well, the ninth to know.
I'd rather be the first, but yes, of course.
Well, no, there's a whole.
Yes, I
It was a
understand.
joke. Um, yeah,
There's a party going on in your head.
yeah, and yeah, and I didn't invite any of them. Is the worst bit. So,
From I have not been able to go through the full medical reports at the moment, but was you the one that performed the surgery, or
to be honest, it's a bit of a blur. All I really remember is being in Geelan's off, and you can see she's like taking the effort to get
Hmm.
pronouns and names correct. Being in Geelan's office and all hell breaking loose, and really the next thing I remember is pain and waking up on a bio bed. I couldn't tell you if I did it myself, if one of the medical staff did it. Um, I mean, I'd be surprised if they
I
did. It seems more like something I would have done. As far as I know, and as far as they know, um, I'm the like chief trill expert on board. I don't really know why, other than for his own medical needs. I don't know why Geelan asked for a trill expert specifically to be brought aboard the station, but here I am. I guess maybe I did. I don't know. Is the short answer, Commander.
Well, I don't want you to go through it now because I believe the events would be traumatic, but we may have to sit down and go over any sensor logs, any eyewitness testimony of what happens. Because to know whether if Gielan or you did this, and when I mean you, I mean the person standing in front of me,
Thank you. Yes.
knowing which one of you did it could be the first part of gaining back a sense of self.
I don't. I think it would be a data point. I don't think it would help in quite the way that you're thinking. It's not like it's
I, I I'm not a psychologist and I don't know truth for philosophy,
this is what
biology.
I'm trying to impart is that it's not like I don't know who I am. I know who I am. I'm at the core, I'm effectively Tell. I'm a symbiont
Mm.
now. Not exclusively. The problem is the trill biology is it's not made to handle this without sufficient training, and I have had none of it. And that's the problem, is I'm just being overwhelmed with thoughts and feelings and compulsions and memories and all sorts that are just coming through this link that the Kiani host was not supposed to have experience. Like, I don't even know the words at this point, but like I was supposed to have gone through training and I didn't. And that was a conscious choice on Kiani's part. They wanted to study trill biology and not be a host. But or even the experiences that I have from Keelan and Mina and Keegan and all the others, they're not helping with the transition, but time will make it better. It will. It's just I have to work through it. So I appreciate your understanding and your patience and this. Um, it's just the worst time and the worst circumstances that this could have happened.
So she nods and then puts her hand on your shoulder and goes, no matter which way you look at it, fate has decided, whether if you believe in fate or not, that you are to be the next host. You are the person that is to carry on the torch. From what I understand, is a legacy for Chell.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but again, normally they choose that.
Normally
They don't trust on
is
them.
not what we have.
Yeah,
Your
in that we're in
ancestors was
agreement.
able to deal with this without training.
Yes, just
You
in
are-
slightly less life-threatening situations. I'm managing, sir, ma'am, commander.
Managing is only of okay for you, for the moment. However, that is only for the moment.
What I really need is to replicate some of the neural suppressants that we should have in stock for this sort of thing. What I really need is those time in my quarters to like meditate and sort my head out. I haven't had that opportunity, and that's really where all of this confusion is coming from. So
I like the fact that you're listening to your own advice, Doctor.
I think there's a little bit of Galen in there as well, actually. But this is it. What I'm trying to get at is I know all of the I know everything I need to do. The others went through all this training. Obviously, they know all of this, so I know all of this. It's just sorting it out. There's just so much static and so much noise. But I'll get there. I just need the time and the right circumstances to do it. And right now, well, if I don't
This is
help
not any
with
of it.
exactly, if I don't help with what's going on now, then we get eaten by weird space shark lobster things. So I presume. So that's the priority. My mental health can wait, which is that I know what that sounds like, but that's the priority.
I'm pretty sure there's some sort of if the CMO is not medically inclined, the commanding officer can take them out of duty, much like you can do with me. So don't make me do that.
No, that's fair. The thing is, when it's the right circumstances and the right situations, I think you will see the switch flip. You will see me become hyper. I've already done it down in medical in the black room. I'll become hyper competent in a random selection of information, and that's fine because I'm focused. I'm doing a thing that I know how to do one way or the other. Right now, it's just me talking to you, and there's 8 different voices trying to filter through.
I see.
So the busier I am, the better I'll be. Is the best way I can say this.
Not the best way I see to this solution at the moment, but yes.
No, but we work with what we've got.
ELH, can I make a roll to help the trait at all? Or
That's what I've been debating this whole time. If you give me a presence... Is this command or medicine? Is it command or medicine?
I am trying to approach it from like a commanding officer type of role, but I will take my dump stat of medicine if you really wish for me to do so.
I will allow presence command.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to set the difficulty at a 3, though. But should you succeed, you will reduce the trait by 1.
Okay. I'm going to give you a threat to roll an extra dice.
Okay.
Ooh. I have a suggestion because I actually thought about this. I have a suggestion. Oh wait, I've got bold command.
Bold,
I can reroll
so
that.
reroll the 20. Okay.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. You get a momentum back. And sure enough, joining confusion comes down from a 2 to a 1. So Kiani, again, you roleplay it how you see fit, but you're feeling at least a little bit better, a little more focused. And that's going to become immediately relevant because you get a tap at your comm badge and says, this is the nurse to Dr. Tell. Are you there, Dr. Tell?
Yes, nurse, yes, Dr. Tell here.
You know that Klingon with amnesia?
Not personally, but yes.
Well, they're asking for you by name. Says it's very important.
Very well. I'll be right down.
That was meant to be on one of the things on my agenda, the discussion with the Klingon captain. However, things have been more pressing than that.
Well, the good news in that regard, sir, is at least all the other Klingons are in relatively good health. Minor abrasions seem to be the worst of it. A few burns, obviously, expected. It's Citizen Krang down in main med bay that I don't know the status of really. Speaking of which, duty calls.
Of
Thank
course.
you again.
You're welcome. Dismissed.
So we're going to do a brief scene with Oberon real quick, because I want to give Arwen some more screen time here real quick. So Oberon, your teams have just finished fixing the sensors. Everything is green lights. You have direct vision on the 12 space lobster kraken sharks coming at you. You know where they're coming from. You know the direction, their speed, everything you could ever want to know about them. And Ensign Zeha is kind of sitting there next to you going, ah, yes, I knew if I rerouted the secondary manifold to the tertiary juncture, we would have this power back. Yes, this feels good. This feels right.
Okay, Ensign. There were several other more efficient ways of doing that.
Efficient, maybe,
again,
but now it's fixed for real.
Okay, well, again, I'm not seeing an update on the
Oh,
repair
yeah,
log.
the form. Sorry, boop.
I know I feel like I'm being a stickler for that, but when you are facing a system and you don't know its repair history, you will thank me.
I'm going to note that down on a different pad, the one that I remember to update.
And you're a time traveler. Yes?
Like I said, this is my first mission. They threw me to the wolves.
Okay. All right. Well, I remember what that was like. So why don't you help me with this new system that you repaired, and let's start collecting some biodata, some detailed biodata on these creatures coming up, and forward that to sickbay to Dr. Tell.
Okay. Boop. And she pushes another button on one of the sensor consoles. What
How do I
you
use
want
this
to
ancient
know?
technology?
Yeah. So, Arwen, what is it that you or Oberon wants to know about these creatures? I'm going to give this to you for a difficulty 0 roll, so you still can roll to get momentum, but just keep in mind there's also chances of complications.
Right. I think the big thing I want to know is I want to know a lot. I want to know if they have eyes, if they, we're talking about like, I want to know how good their eyesight is, if they have eyesight. I want to know if they can be poisoned, if they would avoid poison. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know based on their biology, which of the ideas that we had come up for in the meeting would be the most productive and effective.
Okay.
That's my question.
So difficulty 0, as promised. It will be a reason and either science or medicine. I'll let you choose. The station will assist you with a sensors and medicine.
Wonderful. Okay. And I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if any, probably don't have any, I don't have any relevant focuses here. Okay. And this is a difficulty 0, you said?
Difficulty of 0, so free momentum, but also chances of complication. Yeah. 2 successes, 2 momentum.
Nice.
So to answer your question, it's actually a hybrid of the proposed plans.
Did the station roll?
Sorry, say again?
Did the station roll?
Oh, wait, no, the station isn't rolled yet. Somebody get the sensors and medicine from the station.
You got it, Techno?
Okay. Oh, thanks, Techno.
Two more momentum.
Hey!
Hey, Station's first roll, and it actually did well. Good job, Station. Natural 1. I'm sure that's not ominous at all.
Nope.
So...
Why would you say that?
He's the GM. It's his job.
It's my job, yeah. But Arwen, Oberon, this is what you learn, is that it's a hybrid of plans which would be most effective. Where the ion storm idea, where to generate an ion field to create a shark net, that would work, but you're going to have to modify what you have on hand. Either torpedoes, mines, probes. You're going to have to literally deploy and rig a net in the asteroid field closest to the station. But if you do it, this will effectively keep the sharks, quote unquote, at bay.
Okay, I'm going to get engineering crews started on that, and I'm going to contact Commander Sashiro.
All right, so Shiro, you just have Dr. Tell leaving your office when you get a call from Oberon.
Sure, yeah.
Are you still talking to Dr. Tell?
I've currently finished with that meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, I've forwarded information. We have the sensors back online. I have forwarded information on the biology that the sensors gathered on the upcoming creatures, the creatures that are coming up to us, and it looks like, based on their biology, although I'd want a confirmation from Dr. Tell, the most effective plan would be to create a shark net by modifying some torpedoes and placing them at strategic points in the asteroid field and probes.
Would this be a temporary fix or would it be a permanent one?
I believe it would keep them at bay, and I don't know. I don't have a degree in animal behavior, but I believe it would frustrate them, and maybe they'll leave.
Ensign Zeha raises.
I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer, not an animal behavior specialist.
It looks like I have. There's someone who wants to give some additional feedback.
Hi,
yes.
Commander. Hi, it's me, Ensign Zeha. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the payload and how long we want it to run, I mean, if we use the neutronic torpedoes the Starbase has, we could keep that thing running for years if we wanted to.
All right, so I would like Lieutenant to get you and the ensign to get on with that. I'm going to have a look to see over these readings to see what we can do to satiate these creatures' hunger. So if we can ward them away and then feed them with either biomass or metal, enough that they are satiated, maybe they'll just leave the immediate area.
Already on it, sir.
Good job. All right. Thanks to Lieutenant Oberon. Commander out.
Zeha looks at Oberon. Sorry, I thought I should speak up. Sorry.
Your voice is going to be important here, but remember, it's just a chorus of voices.
Oh, right, sorry. Boop. I submitted the report for that, sir.
A wry smile creeps up on his face. Okay. Well, what are you all standing around for? You have your orders. Let's get to work.
All right. So Oberon, again, the star of today's session, at least in terms of rolling at the very least.
Okay.
I feel like I've done this to you twice now, which I apologize, but it's fun. Here's the thing, is you have the materials on hand. You've got the neutronic torpedoes. You just have to modify and deploy them. So to modify them, let's call it a daring engineering. Let's call it, with my threat of 9, I will spend 4 of it to raise the difficulty to a 5. And then chat just gave me more Of course they did. Thank you, chat. I will spend the chat threat to make your complication range 18 to 20. But you will have some assists here. You have the option of an assist from the Starbase. The Starbase can assist with a weapons engineering. If you want Ensign Zeha's assist, I will roll for her. And I will tell you that she's shooting for a 15.
I want both. Oberon is a teacher and a mentor, and this young person has some valuable skills, and I want them to know they're part of the team.
Okay.
So I'm going to favor Ensign Zeha here.
Well, chat, just to give you momentum, so you could spend the chat momentum to get an assist from the station and Zeha.
Can we trust the station right now?
I mean, nominally?
Okay.
With weapons being breached, does that increase the complication range?
On the station, yes. The station would be at a max complication range right now. So you would put in 5 on the roller.
Right.
But, I mean, looking at the
Can I
station,
use-
you either get a success with the station or you complicate, is what it's at, basically.
Can I use one of those? Can I use some of those momentum just to increase the dice that I roll?
Yeah, I mean, you've got 6 momentum to play with. It's your oyster.
Yeah. Let's do. Hang on. Let me. I need to look at my. Yeah, I want to do that, and I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything with my. I have a species trait that like does something too. No, it's just presence or control, not daring. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to 1 momentum. I get an additional die because I think I'm doing some kind of repair work here or modification.
Modification. Mm-hmm.
Right. And
the next
so
die would
that's
be
3.
2, and then the 5th die would
Next
be
die.
3.
All right. So let's do 2 momentum, and we'll roll 4 die.
Okay.
And I'm assuming I have a focus somewhere. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. All right, let's try it.
All right, well, there's 4 already. If someone can get me weapons engineering from the Starbase, I will roll for the good ensign.
I got the Starbase.
The ensign apparently came to play with 2 successes, so you're already at 6.
And a thing of that. Oh, I did not mean to do that.
We'll take the first roll. We'll take the first roll of the 4.
The Starbase not that good.
No, take all of it.
Yeah.
Seems legit. Yeah.
I put the
we'll
wrong
take that
number up.
4, so that is a grand total of 7 successes, which actually gets you that 2 momentum right back to stay at cap. So, I think what ends up happening in a narrative sense is you have 10-ish hours to get this done, right? You've got like 10-ish hours, 10-ish hours to get this modification and the SharkNet up. And I think because Zeha critted here, I think what ends up happening, Oberon, is, yeah, Zeha doesn't really know about how to file proper damn reports, but man, is she a damn good engineer. She wasn't kidding about that 23rd, 24th century knowledge. Like, she knows what she's doing. And it's not enough to be like, oh, she should be chief engineer. Like, she's not overshadowing you. She's giving you ideas. She's like, well, sir, what if we, instead of aligning the torpedo guidance system this way, what if we did it that way? Like, she's giving you a good challenge, a good engineering challenge. And the reason I'm framing it this way is because with 3 hours left before the creatures get here, you now have a functional net that can be deployed. But here's the thing. You have 6 momentum. You could spend 2 of it at a time to make this a trait which continues on into further sessions. And just as a reminder, it's 2 momentum or 2 meta currency per trait upping. So you could make 3 traits here. You could make a trait with 3 potency. All things that could happen.
I think
I will take some suggestions from Shiro too.
One definitely for some sort of safety SharkNet, but also one for a dedicated star map trait, because Federation sensors are fully online. That means our astrometrics is working, which means even though we can't travel the stars as much in the Versailles, having a detailed star map of the local area would help us with any exploration when we get to that point. Which would mean more backing away to your previous success of fixing the ship sensors.
And can we add like a little tweak to the SharkNet trait
Sure, what do you have in mind?
Can we call it an ethical shark net?
Okay.
It allows them to feed on the materials in the asteroid field.
Okay.
Do we find out what they eat? Do they eat biomass or do they eat metals?
You'll find out in a moment, but it'll be dependent on the trait. It'll be a good thing. My only
'Cause they
question
could
is
eat-
for the ethical shark net, do you want it to be 1 potency, 2 momentum, or 2 potency, 4 momentum?
Let's go 2.
Yeah.
Potency 2. All right.
I have learned over the years when ELH asks questions like that.
Where did it go?
Not to metagame.
If they feed off energy, this could actually become part of the migratory cycle. They come feed off the net and then go back upon the migratory cycle, which would make them less hostile to other things because they have a frequent meal.
All right, so we now have the ethical SharkNet 2. I think I misspelled ethical, but I'll fix it later. That leaves 2 momentum if you want to make that star chart trait as well.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's leave the good doctor with no momentum.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
The doctor doesn't need momentum. We're doing great anyway.
I'm going to remind you that you said that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to modify the no warp travel trait. I'm just going to add charts into the trait. And that way we know, and in fact, let me just head that off. Have charts. There we go. And I'll have to fix the overlay because it looks like the traits are now going into the momentum tracker, but I'll fix that later. So yeah, Oberon, you and your team, phenomenal. And you literally give Soshiro the option to push the button to deploy the shark net at their discretion.
Excellent.
Here you go, Commander. My team are going to take a lunch break.
I think you might also want a nap, considering how much work you've been doing the past 3 days.
I like to nap standing up and looking over them. So
that's why
so
I've been
they don't,
getting so many
so they don't
reports
slack
that
off.
the commander is intimidating them.
Just like to motivate them.
I
I don't say a word. I don't have to intimidate them.
Yes, of course.
Like I said, I'm a very nice person.
Under normal
extreme
circumstances, I would
circumstances.
completely agree with you, Lieutenant Commander. Yeah. So, gonna let the engineering staff go off for food. Then once it seems like they're gonna get into an approach vector, activate the net.
All right. So outside the station, still kind of broken, but we see torpedo launchers fire out in a ring around the station. The torpedoes fly out to the asteroid belt, and then they just begin to sit there, station keeping, and begin pulsing a energy web. And just in time, we see the space shark lobsters kind of come up and start to, like, with their claws, start to poke at the net. And then they just sort of start to feed off the energy. Not enough to get rid of the net, just sort of feed off the energy. Just sort of a suckling at the teat, as it were. But the good news is they don't appear to be attacking you. They just seem to be feeding. And that's when we go to the main sickbay with Kiani. Kiani, you find when you get there that your medical staff are surrounding this Klingon. The Klingon is in a surgical gown, and he's holding up a chair, and he's sort of screaming, "Who am I? Damn it, tell me who I am!"
We will if you close the back of that gown.
I wasn't going to say it, but now it's funny, so yes.
His glory is for full display.
There you go. That's the PG way of putting it.
Right. Okay. So that's just how we're starting. Right. I think Kiani is just
You
going to
you
sort of
did
take
this
one.
sort of motioning at the chair.
Right, okay.
I will have your head. I will put it on the pike, and then I will put it in on full display in my vessel. Wait, do I have a vessel? Who am I? Damn it!
So, see, now, isn't this fun? This was what we were going to be asking you these questions, in fact. Do you have a vessel, and do you remember your name? And,
I don't remember anything, but I remember how to kill 36 species, including yours.
Wonderful. Do you remember what my species is?
You are a... And there's a pause. You're a
Okay, interesting.
betazoid. I know how to kill betazoids.
No, see, I'm afraid that you're incorrect in that. What we've just discovered is that you, who we have just started calling Kang at the moment,
How do
we
you
don't know
spell
your
that?
Kane,
I
possibly.
don't think that's
know.
an appropriate Klingon spelling, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to know right now.
Well, here's the fact. I'm a Trill. I don't know how to spell things in Klingon. I use a
You're
universal
a betazoid,
translator.
not a trill.
We are going to get to the bottom of that shortly. Now, sit down. Put down the chair.
Why
Put
should
down
I
the chair
sit down?
first. Because I'm going to tell you what you want to know.
But if you don't tell me what I want to know and I like it, he's obviously confused. He's talking in circles.
Yes, sit down, or I will have one of my medics somehow hyperspray you.
Presence
And
medicine.
that will put... Yeah.
Presence medicine.
That's
Difficulty
fair.
of 2.
Yeah.
Techno made the face of, that's a roll.
Yeah, oh, shit. I can't roleplay my way out of this one. I believe my complication range is now
1,
19?
so you put in 2. Because by default it's
Right.
1 is 20 and then 2 is 19.
Sorry, yes, that's the... Yes, I got it the wrong way around. Can I use... actually, hang on. Yeah. With me just one moment.
You're good.
Didn't expect to be shouting at a Klingon.
Well, I mean, does
Nope.
anybody expect to shout at a Klingon?
Well, yeah, I mean, whenever you deal with them, really. So I should have been prepared for this. I mean, I'm not Klingon. I wouldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
No, most of my things are about... most of my talents are about succeeding rather than they are about doing the role in the first place. So, would I get any kind of... No, I don't think I would for this role. It's presence medicine. Okay. I don't have any momentum. I'm just going to have to roll as is and see what happens.
2 successes. So the Klingon thinks for a moment, slowly puts down the chair, sits in the chair, then crosses his arms very dramatically and says, "I will allow you to speak."
How very magnanimous of you. Thank you so much. Right. Well, just to get the important information out of the way, I'm Dr. Tell. You are on a starbase, nominally called Starbase 4337. You came here on a Klingon ship called the Kat, the IKS Kat. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Apologies. Under Captain Clark, daughter of... And she thinks for a second. Yes, daughter of Kov. Do any of these names or places ring a bell?
I have no memory of this.
Okay.
Wait,
Now, when you
I
were...
remember something.
Okay, that's good. What do you remember?
I remember the blood of my enemies on a field soaked with battle.
That could just be a Tuesday for you. You're a Klingon.
No, it was important. We were hunting tribbles.
A Thursday, then. The point is... The point is, when you were brought in, you had a severe cranial... something had hit you very hard in the head. I won't go into the technical details. You don't need to know. It's not important. What is important is that your shipmates are nearby, and the person that brought you in didn't know your name, which is why I don't know your name. However, we can contact your ship. They are nearby.
I remember my name.
Oh, that's good. What's
I am
your name?
Blanc, son of none.
Glonk, son of none.
Yes. I do not have much family honor. At least I do not remember having much honor. That is why I was on a triple hunt.
Yep, makes perfect sense. How else would you gain honor except by hunting small, fuzzy, constantly replicating creatures? Yes. Okay. Do you remember gaining much honor?
It was a triple hunt.
Well, I've forgotten his name already.
I remember something else.
Go on.
I believe it is a feeling called hunger. I wish to feed on something. Meat. Yes, meat. I wish to have meat.
Okay, well, you're on a Federation starbase, so meat is in short supply. We do have replicated rations, and there is a Klingon selection. However, it will fill the need. It won't satisfy, I think, is probably the best way I've heard it described. So what we can do is we can either release you to your ship's doctor or your ship mates generally, who will probably have supplies that will meet your needs. We could probably have them bring it here now I think about it. In fact, let's make this conversation just incredibly, just a lot easier. And she taps her comm badge. This is Dr. Tell to Captain Clark.
Yes, hello. What can I do for you, Doctor?
I have one of your crew in my medical bay. They're starting to regain some of their memories, which they had lost due to the damage they sustained to their. It's not important. They're regaining their memories, and they're asking a lot of questions about who they are and what they do and they've just declared that they're hungry. Now we don't have the provisions for Klingons on board the station. I was hoping that you might be able to. Well, do you have a ship's doctor?
Our ship's doctor was killed in the phenomenon. You are the closest thing we have to a doctor at the moment.
Wonderful. Of course he was. Okay. In that case, could you bring me a targ heart or something that he can eat? I don't know. Whatever.
The only part of the targ that we have on hand is targ flank. Is he okay with eating targ ass?
And Tell just looks at the Klingon.
And I think so we'll end the episode because that's a funny thing to end on. Oh, Lord. We have fun here. Oh, Lord.
So not only do you make him lose his memories, the first thing you do is make him eat ass. You are a cool doctor. I'm just putting that out there.
Whoa, hey, hey. I didn't make him lose his memories.
Accommodating doctor.
All I'm saying is that you treated him, he lost his memories, and now he's eating ass.
I treated him for the lost memories. We've just recovered his memories. If anything, I'm incredible.
I didn't say you weren't incredible, I just said you were a cruel doctor.
All right, well, before we have to age gate the video, I'm going to say bye-bye to YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, YouTube. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, YouTube.